You know, when you start a program like we did 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I guess, and especially the way we went about it, just starting basically all over again, basically like we were starting a brand new team. We were fortunate that Ethan Lee was the kind of kid he was, and I'll speak to that first because I don't think I've ever coached someone that was so team-oriented, and that's no knock at Jordan or anyone else. I'm just saying Ethan is. Yeah, it's obviously his upbringing, it's his faith, the way he lives his life. But I remember when Ethan was, I guess, a sophomore, we redshirted you the next year, right? You played the first year. That's kind of the way it went. He's a fifth-year guy. I didn't play him very much. Didn't put him in. And I remember at the end of that year, we were trying to determine who we were going to redshirt and what we wanted to do. And Ethan might recall this conversation. He came in my office and I said, Ethan, unless you remake your game, I'll probably never play you. He was more of a back to the basket post guy. And I just didn't think his body type was for that. I thought he was an energy guy, a rebound guy, run the floor, face up, hit that little 12-footer. And you know, to his credit, he says, Coach, I want a red shirt. And I want to try to make myself into the player you want me to be. And I'm so thankful that he did. He could have very easily said, yeah, I'm transferring. I'm out of here. Or, no, that's who I am, and I'm not going to do that. And then from there, he's always been the guy that, you know, we could rely on. I've never one time gone on Ethan Lee about his effort. Not one time. And Ethan, from me to you, thank you. Because as a coach, and the coaches in here will tell you this, when your effort is consistent, it's so easy to coach a kid. When you don't have to coach effort, that's when you got a special player. And Ethan Lee has certainly done that. We're going to miss him. Hopefully, he's going to the doctor as soon as we get done. In fact, I'm going to get him out of here pretty quick. Is it at 1 o'clock, your appointment? And the doctor's going to x-ray it, make sure that there's no broken bone. The thumb popped back into place, or Steve popped it back in, and so he's got a couple stitches. Everybody done eating? Okay. Yeah, Steve Horner, not Steve. Steve East ran the other way when he saw it. He was over in the trash can, you know, he had his head down. Matthew Kamba, I wish he was here today. He's been a kid that, you know, we have. Matthew, sometimes you got to check, see if he has a pulse. And yet, as Steve said, he's so consistent, and he's just a really good player, and has given us some big moments, some highlight moments. And the reason I talk about this is because when you start off, our first year, we won 2 games, and honestly, when we were 0-19, I didn't think we were going to win again. I don't mean that like I'd given up. I just know I've done this. This is my 28th year doing this. And you just know. You know if you got it, and you know if you don't. You know if you got the personnel, and you know if you don't. And we were so young, we were so inexperienced, we were so frail physically, I was really concerned we wouldn't win a game. And yet those guys that took those bullets and took those hard knocks are now a team that I think, you know, we're 8-9, but you all know our losses have all been close. We've been really, really close in you know, to UCLA, to Morehead State in overtime, to even Oregon. You know, you're in the game. And so now we're competitive. We have a chance to win every game. And the thing I'm thankful for these guys is the fact that they would come and believe in us, and that they would help put this program in the right direction. And the fact that Matthew's going to leave here with, you know, well over 1,000 points and well over 500 rebounds, I don't know if you all understand how big that is. You recruit a player that can do that, that's just, you know, that's a coach's dream. But then you recruit a player who scores 2,000 points and does all the things that Jordan's done. Let me tell you a quick little story about Jordan. I met Jordan when, 5th grader Jordan? You know, and he looks just like he did then, minus the beard. He didn't have a beard when he was in 5th grade, but he looks just like he did. Used to wear his hair a little bit shorter. But, you know, Jordan was the guy, he was smaller than everyone else when he was, you know, that age. And he would just, when he would play basketball, it looked like you set up a bunch of chairs and he'd just weave in and out of them. I mean, he was just quick and skilled. And many of you know that he has an older brother, Desmond, that actually played for me in my club program. And then his younger brother, Marcus, who scored 52 the other night at Marquette. Still makes me mad he didn't do it in a Bear uniform, but whatever. They all grew up in my gym. When I left Arizona State, I started a basketball academy in Phoenix. And little did I know at that time that this time of life, we would be going through this together. Jordan's dad, Chuck, is probably my best friend in the world. We talk all the time, and probably the biggest thing I miss about Phoenix, Arizona is Chuck Howard, to be honest with you. We would meet over coffee, over lunch, accountability partners, just hang out, laugh together, pray together, hang out together, go to games together. And there was never, ever in my mind this thought that his middle son would do what he's doing here. And people all the time ask me when I go back and visit, did you know Jordan Howard was going to be that good? And I said, I didn't know he would have the numbers he was going to have, but I knew what he was capable of because I felt like, and I'll be quite honest with you, I thought everyone that coached him before coached him wrong. They just did. They just didn't put him in a position that I thought he should be in. And I was right. And he has done exceedingly more than I even thought he would do. And he's had a phenomenal career. But to Steve's point, the best part about Jordan and Ethan too, and even Matthew, is their humility. They're just so humble. They just play. It's not about them. They don't score a basket and knucklehead and all this crap that they know I would pull them out over anyway. But they don't do that stuff because they play the right way. When the ball goes in the goal, he expects it to go in, not like we have to celebrate and stop and present him the game ball. And I'm kind of old school in that stuff, but you know what? What I think these guys have done, and you wonder sometimes, you say, well, seems like it's come a little bit slower than you wanted. Well, it's come a lot slower than I've wanted. But if you look at the progression of what we've done, every year it gets a little bit better. Every year you're closing the gap. Every year it's getting just closer to what we want to be. But the biggest thing is you then have to capitalize on these guys and get good players behind them. Our 3 freshmen are really good. They're really good. And the 3 we signed are really good, and one of them might be better than anybody we got. So we feel like those guys have put us, see, when Jordan Howard can get us on Scott Van Pelt at night with his UCLA performance, you all don't understand what that does for recruiting. That's UCA. Now when you make a phone call, I saw you guys on SportsCenter last night. When he's number 2 in the country in scoring, or now he's top 5, you don't know what that does when it has UCA. When his brother Marcus goes for 52, and they'll say, but his brother at Central Arkansas, which they do every time on FS1, you don't know what that does for our program. And that allows us then to go out and even recruit a little higher caliber player.